Hear that, Rolo? Screw the notes. Oh my goodness, I never thought I'd betray the notes like that.
You said screw the notes, like you've got a choice. The notes are out of date. We're not going to use them. We're not going to use them anyway.
But I put so much time into this, like bullet points and italics.
Yeah, that is sad. No, not sad like as in you're sad, but that is like a giant waste of time.
Oh yeah, right. You ready?
Too much light. My head's looking very shiny. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I'm going to be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life.
My theory on referees is you give them the nicest changing room in the stadium.
This is the most bizarre thing I've ever
Hear me out.
I cannot believe Gabriel Bonner-Horst.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible.
it?
Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome back to the Villa View podcast. I'm back from holiday and I'm with Tom Julian. I've been reinstated to the side because Chris Dolan is on holiday, but as I said on Twitter, even if Dolan wasn't on holiday, I think I'd still be in here, wouldn't I?
Well, yeah, I mean, the fun answer would be no, but actually it's true.
I would still be in here. As the man who was at Preston last night, I think I would have had to have been.
Well, plus it's easier. You work here, and so you can get us in easier. It was a massive hassle trying to get in without you.
That is true. That is a problem.
You're a convenience.
That's not very fair at all, Tom. Welcome back from holiday.
Dan, I want to talk about your holiday, but everything is just, I mean, the notes are out the window. Steve Bruce is gone. The whole thing, literally, and maybe less than an hour before we got...
Half an hour?
Yeah, I was heading to the booth and I got a message from Dan Bardell going, Bruce is gone. And Steve Bruce is gone. The fans have spoken, the Birmingham Mail has spoken, and Steve Bruce has left Aston Villa Football Club.
Yep, should mention before that, obviously Bruce was probably looking over his shoulder a little bit this morning. We'll be looking over our shoulder throughout this podcast because we're worried that we may get kicked out of the good booth because we're not supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
Every time I say it again, someone's just come behind me. And
You're all jumpy, aren't you?
I'm antsy. I feel out of practice as well. I felt out of practice at fan cams last night as well. But yeah, Bruce has gone, and ultimately, I think I do know what you think. I think that is the correct decision at this current time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it why people would... No, like, so I don't get why people cared so much about who was Bruce in, Bruce out. There was always, like, I've been quite vocal on this platform about the failings of Villa and the failings of Bruce and the coaching staff and the players to some extent. But everyone was like, yeah, but if you don't tweet hashtag Bruce out, then it doesn't really count.
Yeah, I got a bit of stick for that as well.
Doesn't matter to me, but ultimately last night seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back. 3-3 against Preston, an absolute roller coaster ride through that game. Seemed to be the last straw, but it has been coming. I think you can tell in Bruce's demeanour, in his pressers. He'd lost sight of the football, and all his pressers were retorting to the fans, and you know when that happens that you're fighting a losing battle, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean obviously I wasn't as anti-Bruce as some people. I'd been criticising him because I wasn't happy with what I'd seen, and as I said last night, 1 win in 10 is completely unacceptable. I think over the time I was on holiday, I was getting more and more frustrated with what was going on, and I thought maybe after the Sheffield Wednesday game was the time that he'd get the sack. It didn't happen, but I said last night in our WhatsApp group, he will be gone tomorrow.
Yeah,
and ultimately that's what happened. There's no coming back from last night really. The whole Holt end virtually was singing Bruce out when we went 3-2 down. Matt Kendrick wrote his piece in the Birmingham Mail, and I remember when that piece got wrote about Paul Lambert, he pretty much was gone.
Right.
Straight after that, the cynics among Villa fans, a few have said maybe the Birmingham Mail knew this morning, so they felt free enough.
That's interesting.
To write that article, which is an interesting debate. Obviously, we don't know either way.
Yeah.
What's true, but when that kind of thing's happening, when you're having a cabbage thrown at you, then you know there's probably... I don't condone the cabbage throwing.
What a random thing. Is it because he's perceived to look like a cabbage?
Well, because everyone said he looked like a potato.
Yeah, I know. I think I read it. Somebody said that it reduced Villa to this, which a cabbage is a weird analogy for me.
I thought he was saying this is what the person was saying. This is what you've reduced us to, throwing cabbages onto the pitch. But I may have got that wrong.
I thought playing like cabbages. I don't know. Very odd. Anyway, yeah, I don't condone it either. Stupid. And I mean,
that guy won't be coming back to Villa Park for a while.
Exactly. You're banned from Villa Park.
Nor the streaker that came on the pitch last night.
Yeah.
When we scored the first goal, a bizarre streaking and a man that definitely needed a belt.
Right.
Because his trousers were falling down.
Oh, so it wasn't a streaker?
Or fell down. Well, he ended up being a streaker.
Oh, right.
Pretty much. I don't think he was intending to be a streaker. I think he was just intending to be a pitch invader.
Yeah, well, we'll get to the games. Obviously, Bristol City seems like a very long time ago now.
Forget that now.
But we'll touch on it briefly. But Steve Bruce gone. Thierry Henry installed as the early 5-2 favourite. Sam Allardyce second favourite.
I don't want that.
Mick McCarthy.
What?
6-1. We haven't. I'm just checking here. This is from Odds Checker.
I'm a bit worried there that was Robbie Savage popping up on the screen, and he is. He's not in there. He's not in there, is he?
So here it is. Dean Smith's at 6-1 as well, same as Mick McCarthy.
I'd say that's worth a punt at 6-1.
Alan Pardew 8-1. Nigel Pearson 10-1. Martin O'Neill at 16.
Jeez, I'll never be allowed back at Villa Park or Bodymoor Heath ever again if Martin O'Neill gets installed as
Martin
manager.
O'Neill would be a fascinating appointment.
I wouldn't like that.
But I think from a footballing point of view, Martin O'Neill would be an excellent appointment.
Do you?
Yeah, he's got great.
Have you watched Ireland?
He's got great players at Villa. He's ready to go. He knows how to manage a club.
He hasn't got the defence.
I think he could do a good job. And I'd much rather see Dean Smith of all of those names. I mean, look at the list is not inspiring. I don't think.
I think it could quite. I mean, it's a bit of a random list. If Thierry Henry is the favourite, which is pretty obvious due to the fact he was so heavily linked last time, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's expected that he would be the favourite.
Yeah.
And then it's just the usual mishmash of people that you see linked for every job: Alan Pardew, Nigel Pearson. I'd like to think we're going to put some thought into it. We've got a game on Saturday which will pretty much be a write-off. I would suggest, as these things can be when you lose a manager so close
away
to a game.
Millwall,
then you've got an international break. I think that was when we hired Bruce 2 years ago. It was across the same international break, wasn't it? Dean Smith, I've not put any great thought into it before we've come on. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we went completely left field and went continental, someone that's not on that list that you've just read out. But Dean Smith seems the logical choice to me. Did very well at Warsaw, has done a good job at Brentford as well. He would instill a brand of football that the fans would like. Ultimately, he's got no promotion experience, but then Steve Bruce had promotion experience and that hasn't worked out. So I don't think there's a set criteria for what you can say we definitely need, although I'm completely going to contradict myself now. I want it to be, personally, I want it to be a long-term appointment, and I want the person to be given time. The fans have got what they wanted in Steve Bruce being sacked out, who you would say was the quick route to promotion. We thought if a lot of fans go on about philosophy and you want that set philosophy, then you have to give it time. We can't be sitting here in 3 months' time on a bad run and calling for the next manager's head if he's trying to instill a philosophy. So if we go that long-term route, I want to see the guy given time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That was kind of why you and I were in the Bruce camp for quite a while. After a lot of people were starting to turn, we wanted to. I'm not interested in sacking people. I want a manager that's going to stay, ideally, and I don't care about who the manager is. I want Villa to win. You know, that's the bottom line. And if Steve Bruce was able to turn it around and sort it out, then that would have been great. He obviously wasn't, and the football became so dire that it was obvious that the players weren't really playing for him, and the fans had turned. And at that point, you can't turn it around.
There was no coming back from last night.
So
it was a mess.
Yeah, I agree with you. And having said that, again, you bring in Thierry Henry or somebody that has no experience, and say 3 months in and we're 3 wins, 3 draws, and a half a dozen losses. You know, you then. What do you do then? Because then the season really is a write-off, and then do you stick with Henry and let him build and take January?
Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah.
This next manager has to be given the chance to build something sustainable for the future. I very much got the impression with the new owners that they're all about being self-sustainable and building cleverly and slowly. So if they get that kind of manager in, we've got to get behind it. We've got to get, whatever happened now, whoever it is, and I've just said a minute ago, please not Sam Allardyce, but if it is him, I would have to get behind him. I wouldn't want him, and to me that's a too similar appointment to what we've just had.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably argue Allardyce is a bit more effective. He gets results, doesn't he?
But doesn't play good football.
But the football is turgid.
Yeah.
at best. But I really don't think we'll go that route. I really don't think we will. I think it will be
Next podcast headline: Welcome Allardyce.
I think it will either be Dean Smith or it will be someone like Henry with no experience, someone who's come in a foreign manager.
Brentford sitting 5th at the moment in the playoff places, 5 or so points off.
You've got the table up, sorry. Brentford are sitting 5th. They've only won 4 games.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't seem right, does it?
No,
but that's the facts.
They are the facts. Does Dean Smith? It's still early in the season, so to put that into context, Brentford are only 2 points above Villa, who sit 12th. So, at this stage of the season, do you think it's still attractive enough for Dean Smith to go, well, I can make up those 2-3 points in a couple of games? You know, Villa, his club. That's still enough of a pull. He's not. It's not like Brentford away into the playoffs or automatics, and it will be a massive risk at this stage.
I think he'd look at our squad. He'd look at the money we've spent on some players. Someone like Hogan, for example. Dean Smith knows how to get the best out of Scott Hogan. Villa spent £12 million on him. We're not going to get £12 million back at the moment. So you think he'd look at someone like that he's worked with before. I think he'd look at our midfield and think, there's some good ball players in there. I can get them playing the way I want to play, the way I've played at Brentford.
Yep.
I think he'd probably have reservations over fullbacks and defence to a large extent. But again, he'd look at it and think, if I can just get us by till January, I can get a centre-back, a ball-playing centre-back that he'd like.
You sound like Jose Mourinho.
In himself. He's got... Goalkeeper is... I think Neelam... I know he's made mistakes, but I think taking him out last night was silly, if I'm being honest.
What was being silly was not playing Moreira, no?
Could Moreira play? Because you only allowed to play 5 loan players. I'm not sure how many we had in the squad. You only allowed 5 in the 18-man squad. So Twanzebe, Balassi, Abraham.
El Ghazi.
El Ghazi was... No, he was on the bench though, so that counts.
Yeah.
So was there another one? I can't think who we've signed, and it's just everything feels like a mishmash.
Did you say Abraham?
I said Abraham, yeah. Oh. So maybe he was injured, I don't know.
Very bizarre.
It just felt like Bum came from nowhere and in the team. And
that's again been the problem, hasn't it? Where, again, in the summer we were lamenting the lack of communication. The fact that Bun just comes straight in, if that's as simple as, we can only play 5 loan players, hit that in the bud.
Yeah.
Whereas last night it's just, this is the team sheet and everybody's going, why is Bun back in? It doesn't make any sense. If you just have a bit more communication with the fans, you get such a longer life.
Yeah, I mean, forget that for now. Okay. Let's go back to Dean Smith.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, right? You're a Villa fan. I'm a Villa fan.
Yeah.
You were a football manager, God help us. And you were working at Brentford.
Yeah.
And you've got a chance of going up, obviously. But if Villa came in for you, you're a Villa fan, a lifelong Villa fan. You're going to think, I might not get this opportunity again.
Yeah.
I think I've probably got to take. I'll kick myself for the rest of my life if I don't take it. And if it doesn't work out, that's life.
Yeah.
He lives in Birmingham still, so he ain't going to move anywhere.
Yeah.
Ain't going to uproot his family. I think he stays in digs in the week with his assistant, I believe. So, and we also, the new owners might have someone lined up already. Very cloak and dagger football, isn't it? They could someone could get hired in the next couple of days. Unlikely.
Often you think that you don't sack somebody without a plan. You know, although football seems to throw the rule book out the window at times. But obviously, we've talked about Henry before the season started.
And it would be exciting to have someone like Henry, I'm not going to lie, but it's a trip into the unknown. But maybe that's what we need.
Can you imagine Henry coaching Tammy Abraham?
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you, Abraham's a good player.
Yeah, he looked good last night. He took his goal well.
He's a good player, Abraham.
We just bumped into somebody coming in, and the question was raised of John Terry potentially coming in. He's obviously not made this early shortlist, and there's questions.
You know, I thought you said he was. I thought you said somewhere there that I just saw that he was joint favourite.
John Terry?
I saw something, so maybe it wasn't on your screen. I saw something somewhere before we'd started saying John Terry was joint favourite.
Not according to Odds Checker, but okay. we discussed whether the football badges might hold him back from being out-and-out manager. But it'd be an interesting concept having Terry on Henry, like as a dream team coaching partnership. I
don't see Terry coming in underneath someone.
Do you not?
Nah.
He's still got a lot to learn though, and I'm sure he'd admit that himself.
Sure, that's what so is Henry. If you hire someone like Henry or Terry, you need some kind of experience in the coaching staff, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Thanks, Tom. That's what I'm here for.
Well done.
That's why I'm back.
Yeah. So it's a bit tricky.
Did you get Robbie Savage off the screen?
It's putting us all off.
You really annoy me. Bruce? That's fine.
Okay. So we are literally recording as the news breaks. So
5:30 p.m.
we don't know. We don't know much at this stage. We know that
All the staff have gone. We know that.
Yes, yeah. Have you got the statement there? You had the statement up.
I did have it at the time, but you know what? I didn't leave it up on my phone. Although I have got an app from the ever so reliable. I've got a notification from the ever so reliable AVFC app.
Right.
So I'm sure this will load in double quick time and be right there.
Good.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Insert the. You know, when that girl's like painting or whatever on the TV when something goes off air when you were a child.
No, it's like a.
Insert that.
No, is it
What's
a painting?
I don't know.
She's got a weird clown.
Yeah,
thing,
the clown.
she?
Yeah, this ain't loading, mate.
Creepy.
I can't get on the club statement. You'll be surprised to learn.
All of the assistants and coaches, Colin Calderwood.
I think Rollo posted it actually.
Yeah, so you can find it on the Villa View, but all of the assistants.
I'm getting there.
Oh my goodness.
This is edge of your seat stuff on the Villa View
there, go
podcast.
on
I've got it. Aston Villa Football Club can confirm that manager Steve Bruce and his assistants Colin Calderwood, Steve Agnew, Stephen Clement and Gary Walsh are leaving their posts with immediate effect after having their contracts terminated. The process to appoint a new manager is underway. A club statement issued on behalf of the board said, "We would like to place on record our gratitude to Steve and his team for their hard work and commitment. We wish them well for the future. The process of recruiting a new manager has begun." Said that twice, haven't they? In the meantime, Kevin McDonald, Aston Villa under-23s manager, will be in charge of the team for our trip to Millwall on Saturday.
There you go.
Yep, so not much left on the staffing side of things.
No.
Is there? But I think, again, Calderwood's apparent reaction last night to the fans swearing at the fans, stuff like that isn't on.
Yeah.
You can't, whatever fans are saying to you, and I know they're probably getting absolute dogs abuse and pelters down there, you can't react like that.
Should we talk about the game?
No, I don't really want to.
Well, you have to. This is the Villa View podcast. We're back.
Okay.
It's not Barbados anymore,
No,
Dan.
but I feel like
Also, I don't like you encroaching on my arm rest.
All right.
You've got your own arm rest.
Mine's lower than yours.
Yeah,
How am I
no.
encroaching? You're actually encroaching on mine because yours is touching mine on top.
No, but
Yours
you
is the
literally-
instigator.
You literally
All
just
right.
put yours on my arm.
Let's not do this now.
Right, Aston Villa 3, Preston North End 3. A ridiculous game. And we... I mean... half-time...
Did you watch it?
Yeah, half-time, Preston haven't even had a shot. And Villa look in control. Nice header by Kodja from an El Mohammedi cross. And Tammy Abraham, I thought, took his goal really well. It showed you how poor Preston were at the back. I thought that, again, Kodja, I think, struck through the legs of Maxwell, the keeper. And
That was Abraham, wasn't it? Through the legs.
Was it Abraham?
was the one through the leg. Kodja with the header across the keeper.
No, sorry. Before we even scored, Kodja had a chance. It went through Maxwell's legs,
I do remember
and then
that
the two goals came. And you just thought Preston don't have any great shakes at the back here. And then second half comes. It's a completely different game. Villa are flat. What happens in that dressing room?
I don't want to dance on his grave, but I can only blame Steve Bruce for that because the way we came out in the second half, it was clear that the players had been told, I think, soak it up for a bit. It's not let's push for the third goal. It's let's soak it up, and we invited pressure, we invited trouble, and Preston ended up getting back into the game, which was never a sending off ever.
I didn't think it was a penalty at all.
I haven't seen it from a decent enough angle to call whether it was a penalty, but it definitely wasn't a sending off. The rules have changed.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a goal scoring opportunity. He's the last man.
But you only get sent off now if it's a deliberate. If you've committed the foul deliberately, and it wasn't a deliberate foul. It wasn't like he lunged in to bring him down. They kind of like just locked legs. I thought a little bit. He was never a sending off.
There was contact there, but I don't think it was a foul, and therefore not a penalty, and therefore not a sending off. I'm going to have to read these rules again.
Now, you should know as a trained referee. You're like the referee last night. You've not kept up to date with proceedings.
It's been a long time since
Get your handbook out, will you?
I will. Well, I need to get a new one. I'll have to order a new one, won't I?
Can you do that?
Order a new
I
handbook.
don't know why I shouted. Can you do that as a referee? No, but you're not refereeing at any level.
Yeah, but
at this current time.
There's an online ref shop you can buy the kit.
So I could go and get it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
If you're a fully trained referee, do you not get sent the updated rule book?
You do, yeah. But you have to pay a registration fee.
Oh, you cheap Julian won't pay that registration fee.
Well, not now because I'm not a referee.
No, but yeah, you should.
I'm not going to pay for it every year.
You want to
when I'm
stay
not
on
doing
top of
anything.
things, though, Tom.
Yeah, you get your badge and all sorts. You get to sew it into your kit.
God, you've had a sad life.
Oh, that hurts. Right, so very soft penalty. Former Villa man Daniel Johnson puts it away, sends Mark Bunn.
I fancied Bunn to save it as well. I did. And the guy, Lee, who sits next to me, he fancied Bunn to save it. He said, Bunn will save this. He was very confident.
Yeah.
And then he didn't, and I gave him a little look.
Well, so you fancied it, but just didn't voice it.
I didn't voice it. I said, he saved a couple of pens before, hasn't he? Saved one at Millwall.
Yeah.
When I was there, I can't remember if you were there at Millwall.
No, I wasn't. It was last game of the season.
He saved one at Millwall, and I remember him saving one from Mahrez when Leicester won the league. When we went down as well.
It would have silenced a few fans if he'd saved that, wouldn't it?
To be honest, I was quite enjoying Bunn's first half display. He seemed very pumped up.
Yeah.
He was like a FIFA goalkeeper.
Right.
Like he was making saves and he was giving it the big celebration. When we scored, he was going mad as well. He was a bit like a computer game goalkeeper in the first half, and then second half, obviously we know what unfolded. But one thing I will say is that I said it on fan cams is that when you're defending with so little intensity, just sat back, you have to counter.
Yeah.
But we're defending with that little intensity that when we did get the ball, it's difficult to get any form of intensity going forward when you're in transition and then coming forward. It was just non-existent. We were terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
And then, Preston have their chances as well. Huntingdon had a couple of headers, Alan Brown, and then this Paul Gallagher free kick. The wall seems to be...
Don't get me started on the wall.
The wall seems to be in the middle of the goal, and Bunn's obviously lined it up.
And it's a man like the wall.
Yeah,
I would say.
Well, yeah, but even if he shifts it over,
as a trained goalkeeper myself,
that's not a problem. But yeah, sure, it's maybe a man like, but there's a huge gap there for Gallagher to hit home, and Bunn obviously reacts and can't get to it, and then we're at 2-2, and Preston are flying.
I must say, every set piece that came in, they won the header. When we went down to 10 men, we looked like we were going to concede every time they had a corner, and then eventually we did concede. But I'm not going to knock the players that were on the pitch, because someone like Bree, he just gets thrown in the doo-doo every time.
Yeah.
Every time he comes on, it's in dire circumstances, like he's playing in a position that's not his position at the very last minute. So I feel sorry for Bree.
Yeah.
And if it's them two at centre back against Millwall on Saturday, then I feel for them, because that's a big ask.
I wonder. I don't know when we'll find out about the appeal. Presumably,
there's going to be an appeal.
Villa
I understand.
will appeal. Yeah.
They should.
But I think you're letting Alan Hutton off the hook a little bit for that third goal.
I haven't seen it back properly.
Lewis Moult gets in front of Hutton, and Hutton looks flat-footed to me. He doesn't react to the guy moving. They're tussling a little bit, but Moult gets up, heads it. Have to do it for video purposes.
Yeah, everyone knows what a header is. Yeah. You don't need to demonstrate.
And I think Hutton should do better. Having said that, they're at 10 men at this point. It's getting late in the game. Tiredness may be kicking. Whether that's an excuse or not, I don't know. But like you say, we were beaten to every header.
In all honesty, the second half, I'd struggle to say that tiredness can be an excuse, because we literally just sat back. It wasn't like we were
exerting
closing
ourselves.
down. Yeah, we were sat back, 2 backs of 4, and then the substitutions were quite strange.
Yeah,
as well. I thought. I said to my dad, Codger wasn't really getting around the pitch that well, and at that point you need him to. I was like, he should probably bring Hogan on here, because at least he'll close down. And then Balassi comes on. Obviously, Balassi scored. Balassi comes on up front, just adds to the... There always seems to be a bare minimum of 5 players out of position for Villa. I just want whoever the next manager is, I just want them to play people in proper positions.
Do you wonder if managers look at what's going on and just go, like, for example, Dean Smith just sitting at home watching the game and just goes, what's going on here? Why has he done that? Why has he done?
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. And
football personnel do things like that.
Yeah,
all the time. I'm sure there's Villa players stood on the pitch.
Yeah,
thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing that for?
Yeah.
To be honest, it's been a strange season in some ways as well. Like, I did feel like it was the right thing to stick with him when the owners came in, because it was late on in the transfer window. It was late on in the summer. The season was about to start. I think it would have been carnage. But then ultimately, he's ended up going anyway, so you could say, well, we should have got rid of him.
Yeah, 11 games
in the summer, but I think it was fair for the new owners to give him a chance. People hate Bruce, and they wanted him out, and I completely understand that, and I get that, but I still think people don't realise what a mess we were when he came in, and that he did stabilise us off the pitch, and he did get the dressing room right, but that's changed this season.
Yeah.
It hasn't been right. We miss Snodgrass and Terry in the dressing room. Definitely, there doesn't seem to be much leadership at the moment, and even that's coming from the manager and the coaches as well. It didn't feel like there was much leadership, and when when you need someone to clear out the ball from a corner last night, there just wasn't anyone there to do it, and then we concede. Like, I mean, we've criticised Jednak being picked at centre back. At least he was winning headers.
Yeah.
Like, even him not being there on Saturday is a miss.
Yeah.
He's a miss now. I don't think he's a defender.
No.
Still, but he would have been better in those circumstances, and he would have been, again, he's a leader. He would have been a bit of leadership.
Experienced, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. The transition from the end of last season and the good mood and even like the little videos and stuff that were coming out of the club, it felt like a club that was on the right way. And this season it just feels doom and gloom, doesn't it?
Mess is the best word to describe it.
While we're talking about messes, we can talk about Bolassi's goal, the equaliser, 3-3, very scrappy finish.
The poacher.
Yeah, I mean, literally Twanzabi's there, a couple of other players are kicking around, and Bolassi just gets a little toe to it and nods it in. Nods it in with his foot.
Prods it in.
Prods it in, nods it in, tucks it in, whatever you like.
Header again. He nods it in.
Yeah.
He was just like that Bolassi goal.
Good arm, good neck.
You're not good in the air. I didn't see you win a header at Villa Park.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I was stuck out on the right wing. You were Bruce, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking me out on the right wing. I should have been orchestrating things.
The decision between me and Brian Little, the coaching staff.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Brian Little was very supportive of my game.
Get Brian in. Yeah, that guy can do a team talk. Let's get Brian in.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's get Brian and John Gregory back.
Tom Julian, defensive coach?
No, defensive coach.
Yeah, I'm a right back by trade.
Referee coach, man.
Right, we're getting sidetracked here. So then, 3-3, you've kind of caught your breath a little bit and gone, well, that was a weird one, but we've salvaged a point. Then Birkir Bjarnason gets a proper whack in the face. Have you seen that one back?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big arm from Johnson, and
unnecessary.
Yeah, but rightly a penalty. Johnson just kind of gets caught up in what's going on, but that is a penalty. Glenn Whelan makes a beeline for the ball.
Adamant,
there was no way that anybody else was going to take that.
I feel a bit sorry for him. I'd never slag anyone off for missing a penalty because it happens, but I watched it unfold, and Bolassi wanted the ball. Bolassi had just scored. Bolassi wanted to take it, but Whelan took the ball and was like, no, I'm the senior player.
Right.
I'm taking it. And I just thought, the way he's done that, I just think he's going to miss.
Yeah.
And he did.
The penalty, I didn't think was a terrible penalty. It was quite close to the corner. Maybe it wasn't
power on it, maybe.
Yeah. But obviously Maxwell had to guess the right way, and he obviously did.
Certainly not the worst penalty we've seen at Villa Park, Matt Lynch.
Yeah, fair. There have been some shockers. But, I mean, you missed a penalty at Villa Park as well.
That was a good penalty, though.
It was a great save.
It's not a good penalty when it doesn't go in, but it was a decent penalty. Hit well.
Yeah, and it felt a bit like Bruce kind of knew the end was coming last night. You know, he had
definitely.
The guy who's been questioned. Unfortunately, it sums up the society we're in at the moment. There's no respect. I find the whole thing hugely disrespectful.
Is that the cabbage?
Yes, that was part of it.
That is disrespectful. I agree with him. You can't argue with that.
Then he talked about how it was up for others to decide his fate.
Yeah, he knew he was going to probably get the boot last night, I would suggest.
Yeah, and that's that. And 3-3. Just ridiculous. A ridiculous game last night.
It was probably the strangest game I've ever been to.
Really?
It just was weird. Even when we were 2-0 up at half-time, that felt a bit weird, because I think I'm not saying we pulled up any trees, I thought we were decent in the first half. We made a few chances. I mean, I disagree with Bruce's assessment that it was the best half of football we played this season.
Yeah.
I disagree with that, because we played better against Brentford.
Yeah.
But his post-matches have just got ridiculous, really, haven't they? Mm-hmm. And kind of digging his own grave in his post-matches. It felt like he was saying things to wind the fans up. He seemed to shoehorn there or thereabouts into every press conference, and you felt like he knew that was annoying fans, yet he was still doing it. He was
it became a bit trolly, didn't it?
He was rewriting history, like when we drew to Ipswich 0-0 when they had 10 men. It was tough to play against 10 men, and then when we've got 10 men, it's tough when you've got 10 men. So he was kind of changing things round to suit his agenda, and I'm not a fan of his post-match this season at all. Well, I mean, we drove back from Sheffield United and we're like, why has he said that for?
Yeah, I said this to Dolan last week. He got to the point. It always unnerves me when managers are able to bring up stats like that they've researched, like they've planned for what happens if you're going to lose. So last week, I can't remember what the stat was, but it was something like this is only the second time we've lost at home, or something like that.
He said we've only lost 2 games this season, but We've only won 3.
Yeah. It was so, like, what? It was longer than that, though. It was, like, under his tenure or something. Something, anyway.
I will say for him, he had a very, very good home record, and he did get us back on track at Villa Park, because Villa Park was a horrible place to go to.
Sure, but you know that when they're planning for these excuses to come out, that they must be in their own mindset beaten.
He's not the only manager that does that, though. A lot of them do it.
No, I'm saying that across the board. That's not a shot at Steve Bruce, but you know that I feel like that's a bit of writing on the wall there, where you're planning for, what do I say when we lose, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I guess he knows what he's going to be asked of. I don't know.
I'd rather him come out and say that was a disaster or something. All the post matches became less about the players, less about the games, and more about excuses, either about the fans or whoever had a knock, but then was playing the next week. Or like Tammy Abraham had a knock apparently on Saturday, but was starting again on Tuesday. Like, these things just nothing made sense at the end.
No, I guess you could say he was like protecting his players by making it all about himself, but I don't think that was what he was doing. You could argue it, but I don't think that's what he was doing.
Yeah, so Villa now 12th in the table, played a game more than half a dozen teams above themselves, and 7 points off the top spot. Not unsalvageable at this point,
No.
and it's a very open league, like we've talked about all season. There's going to be opportunities, but we're approaching the quarterway stage through the season now, and we need some direction.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how far I felt like we were a fair distance off the top 6 when Bruce actually took over, and then he got us near there, and then we completely faltered in his first season. So, like you say, if I was a manager looking for a job, or perhaps not looking for a job, I'd look at that and I'd look at the squad. I'd be worried about the defence, but I think I can get that moving up the league. It'd be interesting to see what McDonald does on Saturday. Remember last time he was the caretaker, and he has just dropped all the foreign players.
Really?
Didn't he? Yeah, Southampton Cup game. It was terrible.
Was it?
Yeah, it was an awful game. I went to it, Southampton away in the Cup.
Isn't that a bit of Dan Rolinson? Wasn't he doing a Football Manager where he only employed
Dan
English players?
Rolinson's doing Brexit Football Manager at the moment, isn't he? He's doing a challenge where he can only have English players in his team. But it will be interesting to see what McDonald does. I'd say Bolassi's got to come into the team.
Yeah.
And we just need... I know Neil Taylor's not been great over the last year or so, but he is a left back, and I'm just tired of people playing out of position. Let's just play a balanced side and give ourselves a chance. Let's not play Grealish and Codger on the wings when we've got 3 wingers sat on the bench. Let's play wingers on the wings.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do things like that. Yeah.
We've got so many good wingers now. It's not like we're struggling for them.
No.
And that's the reason that we have to play Codger or Grealish.
It makes no sense.
Annoyingly, I felt like we were quite close. Maybe not under Bruce, but we're quite close to finding the right team selection under Bruce a few weeks ago, before we got demolished by Sheffield United.
Did you? I never felt like we were close. I felt like it was being chopped and changed every week, and that was adding to the uncertainty.
Yeah, you're right, and there was always a change. But I'm sure at one week
there was one that was not so bad.
It was like
the Rotherham game?
It might have been the Rotherham game.
I remember that's the only time I've been on Twitter this season and not been complete uproar about the side that's been selected.
Yeah, there was still, I think Hutton was playing left back, or something was slightly out of position, but generally there were wingers on the wings, 3 centre midfielders that we were fairly happy with.
Codger and Abraham.
Things just made sense. I can't remember. But we have the players to do it. Everything can fit. It's just getting the players to play. And Neil Taylor's not a bad player.
He's just suffered a crisis of confidence, and he's had he's had bad games, but I realised this a little bit last season. I think people think I'm quite soft, and I probably am a little bit. They think I don't ever hammer anyone, but that's not really what I'm about. But being quite close to the club last season, I just realised that players are human beings. Okay, they get paid a lot of money, but they have bad days. They have bad games. Going there and hammering people isn't going to make it any better. So I kind of realised that last season. Confidence is a massive thing in football. The mental side is a massive thing in football, and obviously Taylor got dropped for... No, he didn't get dropped, did he? I think he got injured and then Hudson came in and he
played really well.
He didn't get his place back.
Yeah.
He came back and he wasn't the same, but it's a bit like Bunn last night. You got to think, guy hasn't played any football for months.
Yeah.
And then competitive football, sorry. for months, and he just finds himself in the team from nowhere. It can't be easy just coming into that situation. People are human beings. Okay, they're athletes. They get paid a lot of money, as I've said, but they're human.
It's still psychologically, and we know that some footballers can be as frail as somebody else who just does a regular job outside at Sky just now. You know, like being a footballer doesn't make you infallible to these.
Good word.
Thank you. To criticism, and like I can't remember if it was you I was talking to or Dolan on this podcast. Like, I wouldn't have Twitter if I was a footballer. Because I would be too worried about what people were going to say. It was you, because you insulted me at this point.
Did I?
You're like, well, yeah, you'd be terrible. That's why.
Your social media game's not strong.
Well, I just wouldn't say it. I wouldn't do anything because I wouldn't want to read what people are slagging me off for. Although, having said that, I probably couldn't help it.
Is it difficult going on Twitter now? Because you get a few digs on Twitter.
Only from you.
You don't get anywhere near the levels of abuse I get.
No, well, good job too. But I do read everything. I do read what people say about me and about the podcast, and often will think about it and probably overthink it as well.
Yeah.
So players are fallible.
I know that players at Villa read their social media and read what people say about them. So as I say, I just don't feel it gains anything. If someone's openly taking the mick like Lescott, I'll hammer them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got anyone like that. I think that you just have people that are off form. I think the lads we've got are good lads. Sound like David O'Leary, a good bunch of lads.
Good bunch of lads,
They're a good bunch of lads at Villa. At the moment, I genuinely don't think there's really any idiots there. So I'm not going to hammer them.
Do you know, on that note, on good bunch of lads, Robbo, Tom Robinson, the one-time host of this podcast.
It's gone now, isn't it? The only time he'll do it.
Yeah, he's gone to Norwich. He has a WhatsApp group specified for when footballers or managers say, "Oh, it's a good bunch of lads."
Really?
And like any time it comes up, we'd like take a little video screenshot or a screenshot of the quote.
People say that much anymore?
All the time. Oh, yes, good bunch of lads.
Good bunch of lads.
Great bunch of lads. That kind of thing. Yeah. The GBOL.
When O'Leary used to call his Leeds team, but my babies.
Yeah, very weird.
That's how I talk about my rabbits.
I mean, that's weird too. Martin Lawrence in The Guardian. I just wanted to read this. Obviously, it's already out of date.
Villa fan Martin Lawrence.
At this point, yeah. With just one win in their last 9 matches, which came against the 4th best team in League One last season, Bruce is under pressure. It's simply unacceptable for a club of Aston Villa's stature to be struggling to this degree in the second tier. If Villa's dire run, which also includes losing to Burton Albion in the Cup, keeps going, Bruce should count himself fortunate if given the luxury of win at all costs trip to Millwall on Saturday. Well, he hasn't been given that luxury, but I thought that was really eloquently put.
He's good. He's a good rider, Martin Lawrence, big Villa fan, good footballer.
Yeah.
As well. Burton was when it started to turn really toxic, wasn't he? He picked a weak side. We missed a penalty in the last minute. We picked a weak side, and apparently we were utter dross.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, you have to win the next game in the league to make it worthwhile. And we got humped 4-1 by Sheffield United. So that was when it really started to turn. I mean, obviously there's elements that didn't want him in anyway, but that was when it really started. The worm turned, I thought.
Anything else on Bruce? Anything else on the game? We haven't talked about the Bristol City 1-1 draw. It feels a long time ago, but I don't think it's...
I mean, I didn't even...
It's too relevant.
I did watch it, but not by
you struggled to watch it?
Not by the way I was supposed to.
Yeah, I was watching it.
TV.
I was watching it in Turin and you were in Barbados. I watched it on Twitter.
I was getting my money back, actually.
Yeah, bit of a disaster for AVTV there.
Sounds like it's been like that all season. What I will say is, for the people who listen to us from foreign fields, is that I've raised it to a high level. So hopefully it gets sorted, because it's a shambolic service.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's not good enough.
And it's a premium service as well. It's not like...
I paid £10 for one game and I didn't watch any of it on there.
Yeah.
I just watched Villa Report's illegal feed.
Yeah, I watched that too.
Shout out to Villa Report.
Yeah, thank you Villa Report for that. Anything else? Because I have got some housekeeping to do.
What?
We did our predictions.
Oh, I thought you had to do some work.
Oh yeah, got some dusting.
You do your work, Tom. I'll do the podcast.
You got anything else on Bruce on the games?
Just that I agree that he had to go, but I think some of the level. I saw a tweet today that said something like, "I don't just want Steve Bruce out. I want him dead." Stuff like that's completely unacceptable.
Get a grip of yourself.
You can't go around in life like that.
Yeah. Get a grip of yourself. Right, September predictions.
Way off.
So it was
all of us, I
it was a pretty bad month for all of us, but a less bad month for you.
Me?
You won.
Did
with,
I?
With 5 points.
I don't know why I'm celebrating Villa being bad.
5 points out of a total of 15. You got 1 point for the Sheffield United. You said we'd lose. 1 point for the Rotherham. You said we'd win, and 3 points for 1-1 draw.
Oh, did I get that bang on?
Bristol City, yeah.
Oh, that helps.
I got that right as well. So I was second. Well, me and Dolan.
That takes the shine off it a little bit for me.
Me and Rolinson were joint second on 4 points. We both got the 1-1 draw from last night, and we both had.
Last night, Friday night, you mean? 1-1 draw Friday night.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah.
That's all right.
Yep, and we both had. Oh no, hang on, I won. My admin.
These guys' notes are an absolute travesty.
Look, I won 6 points. Yes.
How have you jumped from 4 points to 6?
I had 3 points, and I thought I just got 1 point for the Rotherham, but I got 2-0. I got it spot on.
You got the score bang on, so it changes. I mean, you should have points deducted for terrible.
Oh
maths.
no, so did Brollo.
Oh dear me.
Oh goodness.
You better check Dolan's as well while we're here.
That's true. No, Dolan's is wrong.
Oh,
Dolan
dear.
on 2 points.
So what did Dolan get?
He had Sheffield United to beat us, but he only had 1-0, and he had Rotherham us to win 3-0.
I mean, this shows that the podcast is unedited, and we do try and do it as if it's a live production. But this guy's a clown, quite frankly. Coming on here and telling me that I've done the best in the predictions, and then halfway through explaining, realising that you and Rollo have actually done better than me.
Yeah, you came third.
That is, yeah. So I've gone from first to third now.
It's tough.
That is tough.
Yeah, sorry.
At least I'm not as bad as Dolan.
Sorry to break that to you. I feel better about myself now.
Yeah, well done.
Even though my note
you can't count.
Yeah. 6 points, me and Dolan. 5 for you. So what do we do?
Are you
now?
sure mine are right? Yeah. Have I got 5 points? Should I have had some more points?
Sheffield
maybe?
United, you had Sheffield United to win 2-0, so that
Yeah.
was wrong, but you got a point. Blackburn, you had us to win 2-1, but we drew 1-0. Rotherham, you had us to win 3-0, so you got the right
That's
result.
unlucky there.
You had us to beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. The result was right, but it was the wrong way
It's
round.
okay, I know that.
And then 1-1, you get 3 points. So there you go. If you played along at home,
I'm only 1 point.
done.
I'm only 1 point off. If you played along at home, make sure you've got someone doing it with you that can do maths.
All right, let's go for October then. So what are we doing? We're going to just add them all the points up at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But you and Rollo are managers of the month, a shared award.
Oh, that's nice.
Hopefully the manager of the month curse rolls over to you and Rollo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. All right, let's put in our predictions then for October. So obviously Preston North End doesn't count. If you'd have predicted 3-3, that would have been a fairly good prediction.
It would have been a fairly good prediction, would it? It would have been a correct prediction.
It would have been a
it would have been
Mystic
bang on.
Meg.
Yeah.
Dan Bardell, what are you going for? Millwall away.
2-1 to Millwall.
Ooh.
I can't see us going there and winning. I definitely couldn't see us going there and winning under the previous manager, but I just still think it's a difficult place to go. Potentially no centre backs.
Okay. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that one. Swansea at home.
Dean Smith's first game. I'm going to say.
Dean Smith's.
You know what? I'm just going to come in for a 3-0 to Villa.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going bold.
What are you doing?
I am going to go for 2-1 Villa.
Yeah. You got to remember to get Dolan and Rolinson's
I did it
predictions.
last time.
Yeah, but we should have really done it before so we could announce them now. We have to announce them next week now.
True. That's true. That's
Yeah.
poor planning from me. Norwich away.
We never do well at Norwich. Always feel like we lose. See, in the Championship, we've lost there both times, haven't we?
Yeah.
2-2. Going high scoring.
Yeah, they're a bit leaky, I think.
They've picked up results.
Yeah, they have,
Now
yeah.
they're fourth and now they're eighth. The league's just nuts. But yeah.
It is nuts. I'm going to go for... I can't predict us to lose. That's my problem.
You can if you think we're going to lose, Tom.
I don't know. With Norwich. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Norwich win. And QPR away.
I'd like to think we can beat Steve McLaren.
Though they've had a couple of interesting results.
Yeah, they're not too far away from us, are they?
Yeah.
Worryingly.
Yeah.
I'll say 2-1 to Villa like last season.
1-2. TJ is going to go for 2-0. We'll be sorted by then.
Just the worrying thing is that I know I'm at 3 of those 4 games, and am I away? I usually feel like I struggle. So I'm at Millwall and QPR. So potential defeats for both there, but it is what it is.
Right, shall we get on to... And you can play along at home, of course. Make sure you... Why are you looking at me funny? I can still see you.
Because I'm thinking, can they really play along at home? Because their scores don't get added up.
Well, you can add up your own scores.
And even if they did play along and you added the scores, you'd do it wrong.
You can put them in the comments. I'm not gonna add them to our grid, but you can do if you like. Right, should we get to some comments? You should probably do this because you didn't include me in the tweet.
Oh no.
So you have to do some admin. I can get a couple, but
my phone is on absolute fire here with messages and whatnot.
This is where you need to be ready, you see. Anthony Haynes says he's looking forward to this one. We've had a few tweets.
Talk to me about being ready when you've just done that terrible math.
At least I had an Excel spreadsheet.
I don't think Rollo even retweeted it.
What?
Rollo didn't even retweet my tweet about questions. So people that don't follow me and that follow the Villa View, they won't have seen it.
Well, unless they follow me and not you.
Very unlikely.
Anthony Haynes, back from his wedding now. Not his wedding, his brother's wedding.
Oh, yeah, the wedding message. I didn't see yours. Did you do one?
Yeah, I sent him via DM.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
Yours, did yours get put on his Instagram? Because mine did.
I don't.
I'm going to look for yours. I'd like to see what you did.
I am really looking forward to this one. He's talking about the podcast, presumably. Yeah, funny one, because I feel like people may have expected us to go all in, but it's just a bit weird now because we don't have the information. We don't know who's going to be the manager, so we can't get excited about whether it's, like, for example, if it was Henry, we could go back through his greatest goals or, I don't know, stuff like that.
I think if we got Henry, I'd be tempted to get the third shirt with 14 Henry on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be tempted
nice.
by that. I thought, right, you asked me to do it.
I was covering for you.
And then you just start doing it.
You've
So
been very chippy since you got back from holiday.
I'll put mine away.
You're very chippy.
I just want to talk quickly about that. I listened to the podcast while I was away. I'll carry on. I listened to the first podcast.
Right.
And then I realised you could do this thing where you could speed it up, but you could still hear what you were saying. So I did that. I listened to it on ×2.
Yeah.
Your voice is very funny on ×2.
Is it?
If you listen via podcasts on the iPhone, the Apple app, then please just speed it up a little bit ×2 and listen to Tom Julian's voice, because it is, when you throw in your funny little laugh, it's very.
Does it get chipmunky?
No, it's not that bad, but it's just very funny. I enjoyed it, but then you depressed me so much in that first podcast, I couldn't listen to the second one.
I mean, it's a difficult time.
I know, I've been in there when it's like that, but I just thought, I'm sick of Villa, I cannot be asked to listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. AVFC RWG. Can't wait for the live reaction of the sacking if you hadn't finished recording already. Yeah, luckily we were a little bit delayed and we got it just before we came in.
If we weren't doing the podcast tonight, I'd have had to have jumped on the camera at home and done something, I guess, with Rollo.
No, you're lucky. You could have done a tea brew.
I don't think that really makes sense.
We could do a tea brew for the next manager.
Don't make problem. You can do it then. You do it.
And my wife will love me signing up for extra stuff.
Yep.
I'm definitely not in the doghouse at the moment. Steve Walker.
Tell us a bit more about that. I like to hear things like that.
I just I suggested something else that I could do.
What is it?
It's like a voluntary thing for this American football thing, and I was just like, yeah, it's only a few hours a week. It'll be great, and it'd be really good for my CV and stuff. And she was just like, no. You can't
earning your CV.
Yeah, exactly.
As we speak.
Steve Walker, never mind, Tom. This was to me being left out of your original tweet.
That's probably the only time I've ever done that.
Should be a lot happier. I'm chuffed. Hoppo Ben, my question for tonight: what food item would you throw at a manager? I'd go for a whole pizza. I reckon it would work well as a frisbee. Nah,
I wouldn't throw anything.
Yeah, all right, but taking into account this is a joke. A pizza doesn't have the consistency.
It would fall apart. It wouldn't
yeah,
be
exactly.
frisbee.
Unless you burnt it.
Although someone threw a pizza at Alex Ferguson once, didn't know? Cesc Fabregas threw a pizza at Alex Ferguson. I don't know what I'd throw. It depended who the manager was, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the traditional thing is old rotting fruit, isn't it? That's what they did in medieval days.
You can't get into Villa Park with a bottle cap.
Yeah.
But you can get in with the cabbage.
It makes me wonder where he stored it. Or she.
It was a he, I think.
Right.
I think it's been confirmed that it was a male.
I mean, there's only one obvious place I think that you could get it in.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. Shazza says, once news before the podcast.
That is nice.
That's
Luckily,
nice.
Tom was even later than he was originally going to be, which helped us for once.
Yeah. Berengari, at least it happened before the podcast again. Ben Kennedy, I spent my lunch break writing a 19-tweet thread to post after work why Steve Bruce needs to go. I've had more productive days. That sounds like one of your days.
It's like you with the notes.
Yeah.
Did he post it, or did he get sacked before he could post it?
I assume he must have been gone.
In the bin with your notes.
J, AVFC_J, did you throw your notes, Tom, in a celebratory confetti style? My office is being refurbished at the moment, so I don't have access to a printer. So I don't have the hard copy, which is better for the environment, but less good for me writing things.
More pearls of wisdom available on the Villa podcast from Tom.
Super villain, Abraham doesn't look happy from his most recent tweet.
He deleted it, didn't he?
He deleted it straight away. It was the emoji with the steam coming out of the nose.
I mean, whatever you say about Bruce, players seem to like him in the main. There'll obviously be those that are happy. There'll be players that are happy he's gone because if they're not in the team or whatever. But he brought Abraham to the club recently.
Yeah.
So didn't Abraham went to Swansea last season? I think the manager that bought him in ended up going pretty quickly, and Carvajal ended up coming in, and he didn't really get back in the team.
Imagine Carvajal's on the shortlist here at 10-1, I think he is.
No, that wouldn't be for me either, I don't think.
No. Adam Wright, if Whelan scores the pen, do you still think Bruce gets sacked? I'd say no. You don't usually
Probably
sack
not.
someone after a win.
I still think the atmosphere was just so toxic last night that it felt like the end.
Yeah.
There's no coming back.
Yeah.
When it's like that, it wasn't a minority in the Holt end. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been difficult for him to come back from that reaction. And then for the last few weeks, you felt like you're just waiting for it to happen. In my opinion, so it may as well have happened now, to be honest, than give it another game. We may well go to Millwall and lose on Saturday, but I think for trying to keep the club as a cohesive unit, I think it had to be done. Keep the fans on side, I think it had to be done.
Yeah. Lee P 777. I've not seen Lee P tweet before, so if you're
I recognise it.
New to the Villa View, thank you. If you're not, then thank you anyway. Your favourite cabbage-based recipe?
Not big on cabbage. Someone tried to tell me that red cabbage was really nice once, and they made like a meal, and I went round for dinner at theirs with the girlfriend at the time. I couldn't get on board with it.
You can do red cabbage, like balsamic glazed red cabbage. That's quite nice. Yeah. My wife is German, so sauerkraut is obviously a big thing there. It's all right with things, but on its own.
She's German. She's not German. She's born in the UK, wasn't she?
She's half German. She's actually born in Uganda.
Was she?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like she was born in Uganda, but okay.
I mean, actually, no, she wasn't. She was born in Germany, moved to Uganda when she was like 6 months. Spent 2 or 3 years in Uganda, and then came to the UK.
She had some life and then ended up with you.
I'm very, very dull.
The poor girl.
And what else was I going to say? Oh, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you know how you can get crispy seaweed from the Chinese?
I've never had it, but
it's really nice. But I tried to make it once in a GCSE cooking class, and I'm sure the recipe.
You till cooking at GCSE.
Got to be.
Imagine my shock.
And but the recipe that I used, I think, was cabbage. Like, I think you were supposed to fry it, and the cabbage kind of turned into the seaweed quality.
God, that was a boring story. But it fitted in with the question. It was so boring.
But yeah, there you go. There's 3 recipes. You haven't brought anything to the table.
I just said I don't like it.
Oh, there you go. Steve Robinson. Have you had a cabbage or any other vegetables thrown at me?
Is every question about cabbage?
A few of them. Have you ever had any vegetables thrown at you?
Not that I remember. I think you'd remember if you had a vegetable thrown at you. I remember throwing a school dinner on the floor once because I didn't want to eat it and thinking I was really clever, and then I got an absolute rollicking.
Did you?
By the staff.
Yeah.
That was in infant school or junior school.
Okay, you're going to call me boring again. We had a mulberry tree in our back garden when I was growing up, and we used to have like mulberry fights with the stuff, and that'd stick. But it really stained.
Not in a white t-shirt.
No, exactly. This is probably where my mum's.
Did your mum let you have a mulberry fight?
I don't think she was particularly.
That would stain any t-shirt, whether it's white or not. That would get stained.
I think we wear our old clothes, kind of. You know. You know what they say to... this is Brett Leader commenting on the fact that my notes... I was saying that you had to do the notes for this one. He says...
I'm watching Better Call Saul.
You know what they say about assuming anything. You don't look like a donkey, no matter what the other guy says about you. That's nice. Doesn't mention you.
I feel like you and Brett would get on quite well.
Yeah?
Just by that boring tweet, yeah.
Oh, dear. Villa Mad, I bet Dan has a full-length mirror at home. Do you have a full-length mirror?
Only recently.
Oh, right.
What's that got to do with anything, though?
I think you like looking at yourself, maybe.
Do I?
Yeah. Oh, you do.
No, I'm not like Dolan. I'm not having that. Have you seen Dolan? Before the podcast, when he's looking at his hair in the screen and doing absolutely nothing to it, but thinks he's doing something to it.
Would you do that if you had more hair?
No, I've never done that. I've had more hair whilst we've been in the podcast, and I've never just said, "Oh, wait there, Tom, let me just check my hair on the camera like Dolan does."
Somebody, and I think it was Dolan, said to me the other day that you go through phases of like copying your favourite Villa stars with your haircut. So it was like...
I can see what he's getting at, but that's not what happened.
It was Grealish for the first one. Now it's a bit Conor Hourihane.
No, I'm not having that.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to see who the next manager is.
I think I had slick back hair before Grealish.
You definitely didn't.
I think I did.
remember that happening.
Really?
Yeah, you were like a 10-year-old kid.
I mean...
When Beckham had the curtains.
I mean, I'm 10 years older than Grealish, so I don't think I would go and copy a haircut that was someone who was 10 years younger than me.
I'm not sure about that.
No.
I think that's a good place to finish.
No. I will say I'm growing my hair back now.
Are you?
For the winter. But it's been very easy with it being shaved.
It's a bit Jose Mourinho, actually.
Is it? It's grey.
Yeah. Essentially. Right.
I feel like we haven't covered anything in this podcast, really.
I think everything's been thrown out the window, hasn't it?
Rollo asked me to say something. He wanted me to say that he thinks he's now got back to all the people from the second batch of mugs that had problems. If he hasn't, then let him know. And he also wanted to say that there will be a third batch coming soon.
Oh, great. My mum wants one for
Does
Christmas.
She?
Yeah.
My dad wants one as well.
Oh.
For Christmas?
Yeah.
Present from you is a Villa View mug.
Oh, did you see this? Villa Mad says Colts or Patriots on Thursday Night Football for the NFL. I said...
no one likes the NFL.
I said New England to win by 10 or more, and the bookies have the line at exactly 10. Smashed it.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Ah, well, good. But I mean, they might not win. Lots of good comments.
Let's end on NFL. That makes complete sense for the Villa View podcast. Well done.
It's been a weird one because everything's been thrown out the window.
I still feel in a weird mood from last night because last night was so crazy.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's thrown us a bit, Bruce, getting the sack just before we were about to do the podcast.
Yeah.
One good thing is we didn't get kicked out of the good booth.
Yes, true.
That is, I told you to take a risk. You were quite happy to go back to the bad booth.
Yeah.
And I pushed it and said, let's just do it here and see what happens.
Well, the department here does us a favour. They don't have to let us use the booth, so we do appreciate that very much.
You're saying it like any of them listen to the
yeah,
podcast.
It's true.
None
it's
of
true.
them are Villa fans.
But still, I'm thankful for it. I don't want to take the mick, but it's turned out to be a good gamble, so well done.
Really? Someone's booked the booth and they've not turned up?
Yeah, that's
bad.
We should actually inform them, shouldn't we? It's a safety risk, if anything.
It's a bit grassy.
Yeah, we don't need to do
again.
it.
I have you down as a grass at school.
No, I wasn't.
You're like a prefect or a head boy at school.
We didn't have those.
Didn't you? You'd have been a shoe-in for head boy.
I wasn't. I don't think I was clever enough.
Do you have to be clever to be head boy?
I think it's a combination.
You just have to be a bit of a grass, which I imagine you would have had down.
No, I was kind of like... I was really in the middle at school. Like, I wasn't particularly popular.
Like the in-betweeners?
Yeah, very in-betweeners.
I can't imagine you not being popular.
I just got on with everybody, but I wasn't popular, I wasn't a nerd.
The girls didn't like you?
I came into my own at sixth form.
I'd have loved to have known you at school. It would have been difficult because I'm a lot older than you. How much older am I than you?
Just like a year, 2 years.
I thought it was more than that for some reason.
It's all the greys. Right, do you want to do the outro?
No, you do it.
Okay.
I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it, didn't you, while I was away?
I think I might have done.
Did you?
No, I'm not sure.
We'll see now.
Don't know.
You'll go into pressure with me a bit.
Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate all your comments, all your questions, whether you like Steve Bruce or not. It is a new reign. Probably, well, do you think by next week we'll have somebody in?
No.
You don't?
No, I think it'll be a fairly drawn-out process.
Oh, I don't like that.
During the international break, I would imagine.
Let us know your thoughts on who you'd like to see as Manchester United, Aston Villa manager. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Aston Villa manager. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video. You can leave iTunes comments as well. We really appreciate it. Subscribe with your notifications on, all of that kind of stuff. And we will see you next week.
Yeah. Good times.
Thank
you very much. Up the Villa.
Cheers.
Should change the name of the podcast to the Villa View Ramble.
that was rambling.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.